step outside on a freezing morning and your nose stings? That burn isn't damage, it's a warning light. Your nose just took a lungful of air that would have hurt you, and it has about 1/10 of a second to fix it, because between the outside world and your lungs, there's a tunnel, and everything that happens inside that tunnel exists for one reason. Your lungs are soft, warm, and wet, and they cannot handle the air you actually breathe. The tunnel has 2 floors: upstairs, nose and throat; downstairs, everything inside your chest. Air starts at the top and falls through, and somewhere in the middle, it passes through the single most dangerous intersection in your body. We'll get there. Upstairs first. The front door is your nose, and your nose is doing 3 jobs at once in the time it takes you to blink. It warms. The inside of your nose is packed with blood vessels sitting right under a paper-thin surface. Radiator coils pressed against the airflow. Freezing air arrives at your throat almost at body temperature. It moistens. Those walls are wet, and they hand that water to the air as it passes. A desert breeze goes in, a tropical one comes out, and it cleans. A sticky sheet of mucus lines the whole passage, and tiny hairs sweep it steadily backwards. Dust, pollen, and germs stuck to it like flypaper, carried out before they ever reach your chest. So that sting on a cold morning, that's the warming and the wetting happening fast, on air that arrived far too cold and far too dry. Here's something your nose has never told you. Right now, one of your nostrils is doing most of the work, and the other is partly swollen shut, resting. Every few hours they switch. You felt this without knowing it. That stuffy nose that mysteriously changes sides in the night isn't a cold moving around. It's a shift change. Now, the intersection. The back of your throat is a crossroads where 2 tunnels overlap. The tunnel for air going to your lungs, the tunnel for food going to your stomach. One hallway, 2 destinations that must never be confused. Get it wrong, and food lands in the airway, which is exactly what happens in that horrible moment when a sip of water goes down the wrong way and your body detonates into coughing, an emergency ejection. Because nothing but air is allowed past this point. You swallow around 600 times a day. It almost never goes wrong. Past the crossroads sits the guard, the voice box. It seals the airway shut the instant you swallow and opens it again the instant you're done. It's also how you're able to speak, but that's a story for another day. Below it, the tunnel becomes a single firm pipe, the windpipe. Run a finger down the front of your throat, and you can feel it. Gentle ridges, one after another. Those are rings of cartilage, and they're not circles. They're horseshoes, open at the back, so your food pipe can bulge into the gap every time you swallow, while the front stays permanently propped open. Your airway is held apart by little bones of cartilage all day, so it can never collapse. Then it forks. One branch to the left lung, one to the right, and it keeps forking. Each tube splits into 2 smaller tubes. Those split again and again, about 23 times over, a tree growing upside down inside your chest until the final branches are thinner than a hair. 23 doublings. 1 tube becomes 2, 2 become 4, and by the end, that's millions of tiny passages, folded up small enough to sit behind your ribs. All of that for 1 breath. Warmed at the door, wetted and swept clean, steered safely through the crossroads, down a pipe held open by rings, out into a tree with millions of branches, and you'll do it again in about 4 seconds without noticing, the way you have every 4 seconds of your entire life.